Welcome to Piscataway, New Jersey. Today we're on the campus of Rutgers University. It's Big East basketball coming to you from the RAC, one of the most exciting venues in college basketball. And today we feature Boston College and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. The Eagles of Boston College are flying high, having won 3 straight games in league play. It's a team on a mission with hopes of proving they belong back among the nation's elite. The opponent today, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, trying to keep their hopes alive of making it to Madison Square Garden in the Big East Championship Tournament. Up next, it's Boston College and Rutgers. And welcome to the RAC. The Rutgers Athletic Center, one of the loudest venues in the game, as today the Eagles have come to play the Scarlet Knights. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Crickey with Jim Spinarkle. Boston College has begun to make a big move up in conference play. 3 straight wins for the Eagles, and they do it with scoring, averaging 85 points a game. And the Big Three leads the scoring.
Well, they do, Don. The key thing about this Big Three is they add up to about 70% of their scoring, with Ryan Sidney doing it in a variety of ways, driving and slashing to the basket. Craig Smith, their freshman player, is really a dynamite player down low. Good footwork and usually delivers convincingly. Troy Bell, though, make no mistake about it, he's the magic behind this team. Really dominates at both ends of the floor, both offensively and defensively. You take a look at the last 3 games. Bell has really stepped it up for Al Skinner. He's doing it all for this squad.
Meanwhile, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights would like to keep the scoring down. They think their best chance would be to keep it in the 60s if they can, but they do have scores.
Yeah, they would love to keep this score down if they could. They've had some problems defending it at times this season, but Shields and Coleman are 2 of their scorers. In particular, Coleman, he likes to go long range. They account for about 30 points a game between the 2 of them. And you have Lamizana, another force for them. He's been stepping away also, shooting threes as of late. I think he has to get down low and see if he can do some damage against the Eagles in the post.
Rutgers coach Gary Waters calls Boston College the best road team in the Big East, and a big reason why, the great play of Troy Bell, averaging over 28 points a game over his last 5 games. It's Rutgers and Boston College next. Welcome back to Rutgers as Boston College comes in. Troy Bell's never played here before. So we look now at the starting lineups. Boston College coming in 11-8 overall, 4-4 in the conference with 3 straight wins, and of course the great scorer Troy Bell in the back line. He was the Big East Co-Player of the Year 2 years ago. Could win it again this year, Jim. And as we look at Rutgers' starting lineup, a lot of size, but a team built on defense, and they want to keep it down if they can.
Well, clearly Bell is in the running again for Player of the Year honors because he's just leading this squad, but we'll see what kind of tempo we can set this afternoon. Rutgers would like to keep it a little slower. At times they go up and down also with their fast break and pull-up jump shot offense.
Rutgers with the ball, coming in 9-10 overall. The Scarlet Knights 1-6 in Big East play. Here's Lamizana, who was a top 10 high school player 3 years ago, going to the basket and does not get the roll. And the big freshman rebounds for the Eagles, Craig Smith.
I think Lamizana right there. That's something they want to get him doing, going towards the basket, maybe an extra dribble and try to get that ball right to the rim.
A long arm to Lamizana, tipping the ball away, and now the Scarlet Knights come down the floor. This is in the back line, Mike Sherrod. Does not have a lot of shooting range. Very good defender. Exani goes hard to the basket and gets it on a reverse, and the Scarlet Knights take the lead.
A team that's known for their outside perimeter shooting clearly has set the tone in their first 2 possessions, Don, to try to get this ball and plug it down on the blocks.
And they are very aggressively attacking inside. Rutgers, a very strong home team. Last year, the Scarlet Knights were 15-1 in this building, but they've already lost 4 games at home this year. They miss Rashad Kent, who's actually now a tight end with the NFL's Houston Texans.
Yeah, they really miss his presence down low, I believe. The strength, the power game that Kent brought to this basketball team. And so far, Rutgers a little quicker at the defensive end, getting to the ball, and the offensive end coming up with an offensive rebound just then.
Lamizana getting that last offensive rebound. Good tight defense, though, by the Boston College Eagles. Here comes Ryan Sidney rebounding and bringing the ball up court.
There's the ability to put that ball on the floor and take it to the basket, Sidney. And Bell is just about touching the basketball. Good pass.
Down low to Smith. No foul, but the follow-up is good by Big Nate Dornekamp. And we're tied up at 2-all.
Dornekamp will have a little fun running through the middle of the lane on follow-ups because they'll double team. Rutgers will double team Smith when he touches it. Now they're trying for their own double team at half court.
Lamizana's quick hand saved the ball for Rutgers. Hard drive to the basket, and that is Jerome Coleman, the top scorer for the Scarlet Knights. He's down now, injured player for Rutgers. BC playing 5-on-4. And now Les Jones, one of our officials, calls a timeout. The players attended to, I think, Jim, it's Jerome Coleman.
Yeah, number 11, Coleman down there. When he drove just then, Dornekamp came over in a big-time way defensively. I'm not so sure in the first look that I had, did somebody get to him? Let's see where you know what it was? It was an elbow just then. Hennon hit with the elbow just then as he went for the basketball inadvertently. I thought initially it was on the drive, Don, but then when he came back after the drive, he went for the ball in the corner, and it was the elbow that came up and caught him in the head.
And unfortunately, Jerome is badly shaken up. As we look at the Rutgers scouting report, as you see the strengths, perimeter shooting.
Well, and also post involvement. I think one of the things they have to do is get the strength down low, so do a little inside-outside. The weakness has been their shot selection, and occasionally they have some on and off defense, meaning they don't. And about 6 games ago, they weren't coming night in and night out to play. Gary Waters has turned that around a little bit and has gotten them more consistent at the defensive end.
And now Coleman, the leading scorer for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, feeling a little better, but not a lot after taking an inadvertent elbow to the head.
Now they're checking the nose over for Coleman. We'll take a look at the scouting report. The strengths of Boston College. Once again, the inside-outside. Smith on the inside, establish him low, get Bell involved, obviously. They love to go up-tempo. That's the way they play. They love that. One of the things a couple of games back down, they had some problems with their quick starts. They were a little slow getting out of the gate, and their depth. If they have some problems with fouls up front especially, they have some problems, BC. But I tell you, when you take an elbow, looks like he took it pretty close to the nose, the bridge of the nose or the side of the nose. And
he, of course, as you know, Jim, is vital to this team. Jerome Coleman has scored 30 points in 2 of the last 3 games for Rutgers. Game tied at 2-all.
Wigan on the floor for them. Good cut by Bell.
Down low to Bell, and Troy Bell, as he does so often, makes the bucket and goes to the line, drawing a shooting foul.
He's moving without the basketball. You see the top curl. Nice look from the top with the top curl pass. And watch Bell, always moving without the basketball, but he gets it. Look at the quick release. He doesn't wait until he turns completely to the basket. He's actually thinking of shooting the basketball as he's catching it.
Bell, an excellent free throw shooter, 85%. Almost 88% career free throw shooter. And he's only 34 points away, actually now 32 points away from becoming Boston College's all-time leading scorer. He'll pass Dana Barrows. Officials today are John Cale, Bob Donato, and Les Jones. As a drive to the basket, and Lamizana, who they want to see more offense from, is showing it today as he goes inside. A 10-point-a-game scorer, and the game is tied.
Lamizana hit a huge 3-point shot against Syracuse about a week ago in this building, but his first 3 touches so far, he's trying to get closer in, which makes a whole lot of sense.
Really, he didn't call it, though. It was a bank shot.
That's right. It was a long bank shot. Nice little drive there by Bell. Dornekamp just waiting it out.
BC coming off another hot shooting game in their last win. They shot 54% the last time out, did Boston College.
Look at Lamizana working down low. This is smart basketball by Gary Waters and company. Get him touches down low, because what will happen is, especially if Coleman comes back, when he's ready to shoot the basketball, they'll catch down low and kick it back out. Here's the post up. Look at the effectiveness. But look at Dornekamp. You see where Dornekamp is right now? He's the double teamer. He's coming down the double team. So that means the perimeter, the guy who passed the basketball in, will be open. So Rutgers has to recognize that and kick it out and be ready to catch the basketball.
Lamizana with a victory lap there. 3:16. It drops through. Herve Lamizana is a 66% free throw shooter, born in the Ivory Coast. Native language is French, and he played 2 years of high school basketball at St. Patrick's High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey. A parade All-American, rated one of the best players in the country when he came out. He hasn't played that much basketball, though. He's pretty new to the game.
The upside then, it's much more and can be increased because of that starting out late in his career. There's the double team, quick double team. You see the kick out.
In it, a little short with his shot. Rutgers pushes it up court. 6-6 is the score, 15:40 to play in the first half. And we'll have a timeout called on the floor with the game tied at 6-all. Lamizana, force early on. With this good move to the basket, he helps tie the game. Welcome back to Rutgers. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarkle. Boston College, the best shooting team in the Big East, over 50% field goals as a team.
Watch this, Don, with the penetration and kick. A lot of times people think you just have to throw the ball to the blocks to establish inside. What Bell did just then from a penetration standpoint, he gets 1 or 2 dribbles going to the middle of the floor. Now guys collapse, and your shooters, Dornekamp in that particular spot on the baseline, just has to wait and be ready to shoot the basketball. So a great penetration by Bell to drive it to the middle of the floor and then kick it out for the easier shots.
Dornekamp, not a big scorer, but he'll take it when it's there. And now the game tied 6-6 in Boston College, averaging 85 points a game in Big East play. And they love to get the score up because they invariably win. Over the last 39 games, when they've scored 80 or more, Boston College has won 80% of the time. They're 35-4 over those 39 games when they've scored 80 or more points.
And obviously that's why Rutgers would like to slow this down, take some time off the clock, and run their sets. The key component then for Rutgers becomes making sure the ones you take are good shots.
Scarlet Knights looking to move the ball, work the shot clock, shorten the game if they can. Lamizana threatening to launch. He's looking like an All-American.
He really is. He's really looking to put the ball on the floor. That's the difference. Usually, a lot of times he will settle for that outside shot, but you'll see over the next couple of minutes he will get that shot without even really having to track it, the outside shot.
Lamizana has 6 of Rutgers' 8 points. Ryan Sidney slashing to the basket, trying to dish. Lamizana tips it away, and at 6-11, he leads the break.
This is a good, solid effort so far by Rutgers. They're playing smart. They're slowing it down when they need to. They're looking for bursts up and down the floor. They're well prepared, the execution of the game plan.
This game kind of a homecoming for Al Skinner, coach of Boston College. He played here for a couple of years with the New Jersey Nets. And this was their home floor.
I remember those days.
Bernard King.
That's right. I played a year there when I was with the Sixers, Don. We played here once. It was Al Skinner. I was in training camp with Al for my first year down in Philadelphia, 1979-80.
Al, a very good player at UMass, and there is his counterpart, Gary Waters, in his second year as head coach at Rutgers. Had a terrific first season last year. Now a bit of a rebuilding mode, and they're fighting hard to make the Big East Championship tournament in March. Currently last in their division.
There's the double team. No double team.
Lamizana working hard for the rebound. Looks like a call against Boston College.
Yeah, from behind, Henniker's going to come over the top with that particular play. You see down low, Smith all by himself. They've been double teaming. You'll watch number 11 from behind. Is going to go over the top. Here he comes. Good call. Really doesn't have a position right there. Hennett at 6'4" or so, trying to go over a 6'10" guy. That's not going to cut it from that angle.
And I think, Jim, one of the most significant things in this game early on is the denial of the standout freshman for BC, Craig Smith, from even getting a touch.
Yeah, the first couple of times he touched the ball on the blocks, Rutgers ran a double team at him. Now they're letting him just go one-on-one that last trip, so maybe confused him a bit.
Smith is averaging, a freshman now, 24 points a game in Big East play, almost 22 games overall. He has had 19 or more points in 13 of the 19 games the Eagles have played. Terrific player from Los Angeles, Fairfax High. Rebound fought for in Sidney, a guard, a very good rebounding guard, over 5 rebounds a game, takes it to the other end. Dish inside, rejected by Herve Lamizana. Here come the Scarlet Knights. Jermaine Watson.
Once again, the beauty of defending first and then going up and down the floor. I think Boston College is surprised early here because half the time Rutgers is slowing it down, but then when they have opportunities and numbers, they're going at them.
Now Sidney's left for an open three, and he bangs it down.
A byproduct, once again, Don, of what Troy Bell brings to the floor for him. The ability to drive it into the middle and leaving Sidney on the right. The 1-2-2 Boston College defense trying to get some traps. As you look at those numbers early on with the shooting.
Now BC forcing turnovers, and look at Lamizana going way up to intercept the long outlet pass.
We've seen him just block a shot. We've seen him steal the basketball. It's nice to have long arms, don't you think?
They seem to get longer when the ball's in the air.
It's like a hook and ladder there. The extension, they just keep going out and out. There he is, baseline
again. Move to the basket.
They may get Exani, I think, though.
They do indeed. Sean Exani, the big power forward. He gets his second. Each team with 3 team fouls. Rutgers feels they might have 15 fouls that they're going to have to use on the big guy for Boston College up front, Craig Smith, who is a magnificent field goal shooter, over 60%, but he is not a good free throw shooter, 60%.
Sometimes some problems. Take a look at the early turnovers, just about even, but that's one of the things you need Smith to get a little bit better at because he will end up going to the line quite often. There's a little bump away from the basketball by Wooten.
Jermaine Watson hit hard. Herve Lamizana, the junior from East Africa, where he was born on the Ivory Coast.
Really giving them a lift at both ends of the floor. Look at this cut.
Beautifully done by the BC Eagles. As shooting in is Bryant, uncontested, and it's back to a 1-point lead for Rutgers.
Bryant has given them a nice lift. BC has averaged about 7 a game or so, and he's really done a good job, especially in the Connecticut game this year with their win. 14 points, 7 rebounds. Good solid contributor for Skinner's squad.
Boston College terrific on the road. Both St. John's and Boston College lead Big East play in wins on the road overall. They each have 5 road wins. But Boston College had won at places like Iowa State, North Carolina State, blew out Connecticut at Connecticut, blew out Virginia Tech at Blacksburg. Welcome back to Rutgers. 11:37 left to play in the first half. There is Herve Lamizana, 6 points on 2 of 3 field goal shooting. He has 2 blocks and 2 rebounds.
Started this game looking to attack down low, and look at him again, coming through, putting the ball on the floor, offensively and defensively. Here you see him with the steal, and look at the push coming down the floor, a little kickoff. Rutgers going up and down the floor, open it, spreading it. But one of the things about Lamizana is that he just looks like he's having fun this afternoon playing basketball. And generally when things are going well for you, it's an easier game to play, but he just seems very loose. He seems like he's having fun and enjoying himself. Pretty good way to play this game.
I tell you, his great attribute that's very evident from the opening tip, Jim, is his ability to move. He is smooth.
He really is. He's agile. He doesn't really make mistakes on the floor in terms of his positioning. And once again, I think he's trying to get on the blocks right now. That's where he's sitting on the right side. Let's see if he can get active down there.
BC has big guys defending on him. Bryant trying to elbow him out. They look at each other, and now the ball comes back outside to Sherrod, who's not a three-point threat.
See, this is a man-to-man, I believe. It's hard to even tell because Rutgers hasn't done anything offensively yet in terms of moving without the ball. Good look.
Now they get it down low to Sherrod. Back out to Lamizana, and the big guy strokes and drives it down. A three-point shot.
Earlier I mentioned he did a big one against the Cuse. He's hit a big one against Seton Hall, so he can shoot the ball from long range. That's not a problem. And now all of a sudden it opens up. Why is that? Because they've been used to seeing him drive towards the basket. So now he's not settling.
And that was the same shot he had against the Cuse, except he didn't bank this one. BC can't get it to go. Wright comes down with the ball for Rutgers. Scarlet Knights have led by 6. They were up 12-6. Now they lead by 4. As we look at the early three-point numbers.
Now look at Lamizana. Donnie's down back on the blocks right now. Good kick out. You don't have it, get it out, get guys involved.
And now a whistle down low, and there's going to be a push-off called on Rutgers, and the ball's back over to the Eagles.
How about the matchup with Wright, who's right there in your picture, and Smith. You got 270 versus 265 or so as Coleman comes back in. And Coleman coming back after he took a shot, going after a loose ball. An inadvertent shot. Watch now as the ball goes away. He gets hit kind of right across the bridge of the nose, maybe partially in the eye also. Probably had him out of this basketball game. What do you figure, down about 6 minutes or so?
He was out for a while. On the outside, Ryan strokes it, knocks it down.
Wow, did that have a little loft on it? That was almost as high as we're sitting.
And that brings it again to a one-point game. Yeah, he brought a high arcing shot. Well, the rim is big enough to take 2 basketballs at once. You get all of it, the higher you shoot, the more targets you have.
Well, that was clearly dropping down from the sky. DC going with the 1-2-2 look full court. Look at this field. There's the shooter's touch.
Yeah, there's the shooter's touch on the home floor.
Take every single bounce you can get.
Kareem Wright, a huge senior, 285 pounds, averaging just 5 a game, and now the long ball by Bryant doesn't go this time in right. Rips down the defensive board. Here come the Scarlet Knights, leading by 3.
Wright's numbers aren't staggering, but occasionally he puts up some nice post work for them. Here he is in the post again. Let's see if he looks for his opportunity. Oh! Yep, good move. Along the baseline. Smith paying a little tenuously back there on the defensive side.
And now let's take a look at our Ameritrade scoreboard. Some top-ranked teams in action later today. Florida, #1 for the moment. They get knocked off
by that number 7 team, Kentucky, right there.
Well, there's 2 great teams in Kentucky, Louisville and Kentucky.
And Pitino has turned it around again, huh?
Talking about the Big East, Gary Waters. Now in his second year, he said that a lot of conferences have parity or equality, whatever you want to call it. He said what the Big East has is equality at a high level. He said it's not a lot of average teams, it's a lot of good teams.
I would agree with him, and one of the other things I would add to that is Wright steps up and hits that one. And the guy shoots under 50% from the line, so anyone they can get there. But what these teams have, too, is they have a lot of veterans players, but plenty of young players in this league right now that are very, very good. And we're seeing one with Smith, who hasn't really gotten involved offensively yet.
Probably a league of the best guard combinations, Jim, of any conference in the country. Right. It's just loaded with great guards in the Big East.
Well, you have this combination of Bell and Sidney are pretty good. Everybody's going to question this call, but tell me if he doesn't move this player out. That's a good call. Move him out of the position. You cannot hit the player with the basketball and move him to a different direction.
Well, he weighs over 100 pounds more than Troy Bell, so it's an easy move.
That may have been a hook down low, yeah. The officials are all over this. A little more aggressive down there than what it may appear viewing it. Setting an early tone with post-up play and aggressive play. Guys are starting to move their arms out a little further than what need be.
8:47 to go in the first half. Ryan Sidney, not me, he said. Coach isn't buying it near as the official. So he sits down.
Check this defense out, Don. It's a 1-2-2 Boston College. Now, it's just kind of taken some time off the clock initially. So now right there, the first pass in, it's 23 seconds left. They lull you to sleep a little bit with it. They force you to take maybe a quicker shot, even though Coleman shoots the ball quicker than need be, but they end up getting it back for a fresh clock.
But Rutgers just happy to see Jerome Coleman back in there after he went down early in the game. And Coleman with a great move to the rack, but he can't get it to go in. Dornekamp rips it off.
And they can pretty much say that Rutgers survived without Coleman on the floor for that 5 or 6 minutes, still leading by 5.
Men at work under the boards.
Snatch.
With that,
was that Bell down there?
It was Bell.
That was a terrific snatch. You get a quick look at Troy Bell's ability to snatch the basketball and try to make something happen with the follow-up.
Rutgers are really trying to get a jump started now. They have really struggled of late. They're able to get close, lead a lot of times as Bell strokes a 3.
You very infrequently see that type of play. When a ball is in play, you see from the right side of the floor to the left, but very infrequently do you see that play from an out-of-bounds play to go diagonal to the opposite corner. Bell ready to shoot, though.
Wooten working in the backcourt. He draws a foul now as Bell reached in. Troy Bell has, he's so dangerous in the arc, not only hitting the 3, but he's been fouled on 3-point attempts over 50 times in his career. And it career free throw shooter of almost 88%. So we're at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, the rack as they call it. Don Cricky with Jim Spinarkle. Big East basketball. Rutgers and Boston College. Boston College coming in with a tailwind. The Eagles have won 3 straight games in the conference. Rutgers trying to contend for the final playoff spot in the Big East Championship Tournament next month. They've struggled. So many times they've led late in the game, Rutgers, only to lose the lead. As Al Skinner has his team on the move up. And there's Herve Lamizana, the big man for Rutgers, stroking a rare 3. Welcome back to the rack. Big East basketball. Rutgers leading Boston College 21-17. As now we're going to take a look at the Conagra Foods Big East standings. Wildcats of Villanova, a surprise team in the East Division, leading by a game over Connecticut at the moment. BC only a game and a half out of the lead in the East.
It shows you how tight that East is.
And in the West, Pittsburgh, highly ranked and leading the Western Conference with a huge game next tomorrow against Notre Dame at South Bend.
Troy Bell knocking one back from long range again. Doesn't take too much time. You give him a split second and he will deliver.
And all of a sudden, Jim, he is up to an 8-point production. Here is Bell with a steal. He's got Jermaine Watson. And he drives to the basket as an unselfish Troy Bell gives Boston College the lead.
A little more activity that trip on the 1-2-2. You throw a lazy pass across court, it's going to get snagged, and off they go to the races. That's the kind of play they like to have to pick up their scoring.
His shot. Wharton comes right back and gives the Scarlet Knights the lead, 24-22, as he hits a 3.
See, if you're aggressive against the trap and half court or full court activity defensively, if you go by it quickly, you know you're going to have numbers down the other end of the floor because there's 2 or 3 defenders down there, and Smith using that big arm to push off to get position down low. So he's having some problems. It's number 2 for him.
And Al Skinner, he sees that the opponent has game planned well against his big guy, Greg Smith, who's yet to score a bucket. 24-point-a-game score in Big East play.
You could see it. Left arm goes out. Zani goes up the lane. And generally, the defender does not go up the lane when you know they're trying to defend their own hoop.
And if you look at the updated 3-point shooting, Boston College hitting 4 of 7, Rutgers 2 of 3. Greg Smith takes a seat, and Andrew Bryant comes back in for the Eagles.
No choice but to put him on the bench with 6.5 minutes left. You don't want that 3rd foul. Takes you right out of the beginning of the second half.
2 fouls in the first half. Virtually every rotation is an immediate seat next to the coach. Quick trigger. Rebound down to Durnicamp. Outlet to Troy Bell. Up court to Jermaine Watson. A slasher. He goes to the basket.
Boy, oh boy.
We had a train wreck down underneath the basket. Looks like everybody's all right.
Everybody underneath. Okay.
Jermaine Watson's going to go to the free throw line.
Watch what triggers this. This quick pass up the floor, though, gives him the opportunity. That's a good call. Guys are okay. Everybody came down hard, but everybody's okay. See the quick pick? Pass up the court to Watson allows him to catch it on the run.
They're going to score the goal.
Yep. I like when Troy Bell releases the basketball, though. Somebody's ahead of you and they have an angle. Give him the basketball. Let him deliver. Let him do something with it. Don't give it to him too slowly.
And sophomore Jermaine Watson from Dorchester, Mass. completes a 3-point play and gives the BC Eagles the lead 25-24.
That last catch just then with Lamizana in the middle of the floor, that's where they have to get a body against that 1-2-2 defense so they can catch and go.
Now John Cale blows the whistle, stops play, and a foul is signaled against Boston College. Jermaine Watson gets his first. Both teams over the limit. 9 team fouls now in BC with almost 6 minutes still to play in the half. 7 team fouls in Rutgers. 1 more foul on BC, and Rutgers will be in the double bonus as Lamizana at the free throw line having a good day. Big man now with 9.
Yeah, so far it's been a day for him where he's just kind of flown right with the flow of the pace of the game. I mean, nothing has been tracked. There has been no forced shots on his part. Really looks comfortable on the floor.
Lamizana gets both of them, and Rutgers takes a 1-point lead. Very shifty Troy Bell, looking at a between-the-legs dribble, and now Dornekamp always looking to pass out there.
No motion offense right here.
A lot of cutters going across the lane. Another whistle stops play, so the free throw line will loom large in this game. 8th team foul in Rutgers.
His first personal foul. Scarlet Knights 8, team foul.
Look at those numbers. Rutgers doing okay at the line, 8 for 8. Boston College is getting to the line, only 2 attempts. And a byproduct of some of their shots coming from the outside. But it'll be interesting to see how those numbers, based on what you just mentioned, Don, with the fouls being called right now, how they stack up about 25 minutes from now.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the difference maker, who does what at the line. And neither of these teams, although Boston College is shooting 51% as a team from field goal line range, is only in the low 60s in free throws. Even with a guy as good as Bell at the free throw line, who puts down a pair. 85% plus this season for Troy Bell. Big score, the other big score for BC. Craig Smith has yet to score, but Troy Bell off to another great start. He has 10 points.
Let's see if Rutgers can get somebody in the middle of the floor.
Lamizana leading scorer in the game with 11 for Rutgers. Hard drive to the rack and away with the ball comes Hinnant. Bell heading in.
It's not a kick, though. He threw it off the leg of Lamizana, so that's not a kick. That's a good not call for the officials just then.
You watch Lamizana, Jim, all you can see what upside on this guy.
Yeah.
There's no telling how good he might end up.
Put a little beef on him, keep getting strong, and he's got the soft touch from the outside. See how they ride him out, though, Don? Right now, they're riding him up the lane a little bit too far. That's where he's got to get that strength, especially in the legs.
He's very thin. But you can't teach height. He has that. Now a home run ball caroms off. Jermaine Watson at 6'3", a good rebounder as evidence there. Rips it down. Starts the other way. Lewis Hinnant gets it inside, and there's a foul call. It's going to be signaled on Rutgers. That was on Jerome Coleman. And Coleman, who is the leading scorer for Rutgers, has yet to score in this game. He only numbers he's picking up are personal fouls. He has 2.
Yeah, he's got 2 fouls and 1 good shot to the nose area, so it's not been a good afternoon so far for Coleman.
And to the free throw line. Again goes Boston College. This is Ryan Sidney. Not a good free throw shooter. He is there, but he came into the game shooting barely 28% free throws in Big East play.
I'd say that needs a little work.
That's 41% for the season. But his percentage is going up now.
Dramatically.
As he hits a pair. Gives BC its biggest advantage, 29-26. How do you get better shooting free throws? Just shoot 1,000 a day?
Well, you put them in for percentage-wise. If you put them in, the percentage goes up. Yeah, you just have to shoot them. Get a comfort zone, reduce the motion in your shot, and practice them.
You say, Jim, a lot of the great free throw shooters never watch the ball in flight. They just look at the rim all the way.
Yeah, well, that's the trick with shooting in general. Keep your eye on the target.
Not knowing that, you can tell what kind of a shooter I was. Here is Bell, and he fires and strikes, and Troy Bell with a beautiful long-range shot. He's up to 13 points, and BC extends to a 6-point lead.
One of the things they have to be concerned with if you're Rutgers right now, to make sure you play solid 4 minutes of basketball here so this doesn't get away from you, especially with Coleman on the bench.
And now let's take a moment to thank our corporate sponsor, Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires don't give up a thing. BC not giving up anything in the last couple of minutes as they're on a 7-0 run. They take a 6-point lead.
Troy Bell has really been doing the job for Al Skinner in Boston College, 13 points. But just the direction that he has on the floor, the understanding of when it's supposed to happen for Boston College. You see the little slip cut, a little floater to the basket, nice little drive. And then he goes long range to knock one back from the corner. A little pull up off the dribble. Well, what can he do? I mean, defensively, drives to the hoop, nice little dish in the finish.
BC,
Troy Bell has really been involved, and it's just fun to watch, especially if you're sitting up here.
It is fun to watch, particularly for Coach Al Skinner, as BC's now made its last 5 shots in the field. Bell particularly effective.
4 for 7 on the day.
13 points for this 25-plus per game scorer in Big East play.
Came into this game with 2,309 points. There's a couple for Wooten.
Yeah, he's an important guy. Calvin Wooten, a freshman from Detroit. He looms large in the future of Rutgers basketball. He'll be the starting point next year. Averaging almost 6 points a game as a freshman.
Not afraid to shoot that three-point shot, and has had some effective games in that loss to Villanova earlier in the season. A big loss. Played pretty well.
Down to Sidney. Dornicamp might have taken an extra one. But making the extra pass. The BC Eagles get the bucket and lead by 5.
This team is ranked 7th in the country, BC, with their assists. They're the best in the Big East. They're very unselfish, and that was a great example of it. Oh, talk about even up the balls. Looked like he traveled a little bit down that end.
Yep. It was Jermaine Watson on the payoff end with a score on the last trip for the Eagles.
Yeah, they're very unselfish, though. A lot of extra touches. That's why guys are always involved with this team.
Dornicamp's been doing a good job on Lamizana after his hot early start. Here's a long ball. Knocked up and down.
And inside-outside game again. Wooten just stepping in and striding into that shot. If you get a 1-step and up on a shot, your body language is totally different shooting the basketball.
Freshman Calvin Wooten has scored 11 so far for Rutgers, but right back the other way comes the great Troy Bell. He's now up to 15 points for the game.
What do you need, 33 to tie Dana Barros?
34 to break the record, yeah.
He's closing in on it quickly, Don.
What happened today? Rebound to Lewis Hinnant. Hinnant, a freshman out of Oxon Hill, Maryland. Getting a lot of playing time. Down low to the big guy, Dornicamp. And a good move to the basket. Lamizana not wanting to risk a foul, and the drop step works for the big man for BC.
Nice move by Dornicamp, but Lamizana, once again, the strength as he's in the middle of the floor now. Good kick away. You have to get stronger and not allow that first body bump to push you away and push you back. Oh, terrific move by Shields along the right side of the floor. You talk about worrying about getting fouled first and then making your shot second. Well, that was a terrific example of it by Shields just then on the right side of the floor.
Ricky Shields up to 4 points, a 13-plus point a game scorer, a key guy for Rutgers.
Watch the way he just puts the body against the defender, just to graze him a little bit. First get the contact, then you know you're going to the free throw line, worst case, and if you can put one in like he just did, go for the old conventional three-point play.
Shields is the Scarlet Knights' top three-point shooter. Shoots over 40% from the arc. No attempts today. They've been watching him closely. 1:54 left to play in the first half. Boston College down by 6 at one point is holding a 3-point lead. We'll be back to Rutgers in a moment. The hot shooting Eagles of Boston College lighten it up now at the Rutgers Athletic Center, having hit their last 8 shots, but they lead by just 3.
Well, this is a team that really just shoots the basketball very, very well.
As we look at the Guinness game summary, Boston College for the game shooting over 60% from the field.
Shot 54% against St. John's. So they're really a team that shoots the ball well, 51% in conference. You look at Jerome Coleman right there, still struggling a little bit probably from that hit that he took early on. You see the bag of ice right there. But more importantly for Rutgers, not more importantly than his health, obviously, but the fact that they're still in this basketball game with him out, not scoring a point, 0 for 5. Rutgers is okay so far.
Well, Rutgers with good defense has not allowed Craig Smith, a 24-point a game scorer in the conference, the freshman for Boston College, to score today. He's 0 for 2 from the field. 8th turnover by Boston College.
Well, clearly Coleman not scoring and Smith not scoring their usual numbers has kept this neutralized with the two of them. So
Calvin Wooten with the ball, a surprise score today. The freshman has already hit for 11, giving him a lot of attention now, bringing the defense way out. Lamizana, who's been quiet for a while after 11 early, makes a beautiful dish. And driving hard to the basket for Rutgers for the bucket.
Wiggin just filled the middle of the floor. You know, and Lamizana once again showing us another part of his basketball game this afternoon. Recognized the double team and found the middle cut.
Bell fires. Talk about creating your own shot. He didn't have any room there and still knocked it down.
Quick, the elevation, the follow through. And you get the camera on that and get a still on that and put it on the wall. That's a beautiful looking jump shot.
And again, he has been the difference maker. Troy Bell with 18 first half points for Boston College. Game clock winding down now. A half minute to play. 15-second differential. Shot clock down to 10.
They usually go at about 7. It's 7 now, and they're not going yet.
They're not. Here's Wooten to Lamizana.
Great fake.
Beautiful fake. Rebound knocked around. Lamizana, three-point try.
You asked the question why, though, Don. They could have gotten the last shot. They give one up right here.
Beautifully done by the Eagles, though, as they get the long outlet pass, and Lewis Hinnon is on the payoff end. And that will do it for the first half play as Boston College on the final field goal by Hinnon builds again to a 6-point lead, 43-37. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the Dodge Tough Player of the Week, the Big East Wire, and stats and highlights in this hot shooting first half. At the half, Boston College down by 6 early, rallies back to take a 6-point lead at halftime.
About a 13-second difference between the game and the shot clock. Lamizana, Sherrod, shot clock at 5. 3 by Sherrod. Oh, and out of town. Lamizana with a three-pointer, 68-65.
Great finishes with more to come in Big East basketball. We'll be back with halftime stats and highlights in a moment.
In the nation and in the world, Rutgers is making a difference.
University researchers invent an artificial hand
and detect links between diet and cancer.
The history of a uniquely American musical genre is preserved.
While critically acclaimed literary works offer insight into our culture.
From the discovery of ancient stone tools
to promising advances in the treatment of spinal cord injuries.
Rutgers is creating the future today.
Welcome back to the Rutgers Athletic Center, where the BC Eagles lead at the half, 43-37. Don Criqui with Jim Spanarkel. I don't know how you beat Boston College, Jim. They're shooting 64% field goals and 100% from the free throw line.
Well, when they get it going, Don, that's what they want to do. They're 43 points at the half. They'd like to get this game into the 80s, but keep in mind, Craig Smith has really not done anything, hasn't scored. Jerome Coleman on the other side for Rutgers has not scored either. So interesting, the two impact players have not put up any points in this first half.
And the bad news for Rutgers is Boston College, high scoring as they are, usually scores more in the second half as we look at the first half numbers.
Right, one of the mistakes there at the end, they could have gone in down 4, they go in down 6, Rutgers, but you look at those numbers, field goal shooting at 64%, that's dynamite. Really at the three-point shooting, they're hitting their shots because of Troy Bell, but I think interesting enough, when you have 13 assists and you have 16 field goals, that just goes and plays into Al Skinner's strength, that they have an unselfish team.
Earlier this week, the Rutgers community lost one of its great leaders and loyal sons with the passing of former University Vice President and Treasurer Joseph Whiteside. For nearly a quarter century, this much-beloved and admired administrator served Rutgers University with uncommon class and dignity. The Rutgers athletic program has known no greater friend or supporter than Joe Whiteside. Welcome back to the Rutgers Athletic Center at the half. Boston College hitting 10 straight field goal attempts during one stretch. Takes a 6-point lead as we look at the Hyundai first half highlights.
One of the biggest plays here is Coleman getting hit across the bridge of the nose, a little bit in the eye also. An 0 for 5 first half, but Lamizana picked it up for them in terms of going down low, stepping outside, looking for his long-range shot, so he gave them a pretty big lift. With Coleman not scoring points, but Troy Bell, obviously, the go-to guy as he usually is for Boston College. A little inside cut, long-range jump shot. Watch this one, the quick catch, spin and shoot to the basket, and really square up well. Troy Bell on a roll with 18 points in the first half. Al Skinner is obviously keeping him on the floor as much as he possibly can.
Just unbelievable. There's Lamizana, who scored 11 points in the first half. Most of them early in the half for Rutgers. He's just a 10-point-a-game scorer on the average. So we're ready to go now with the second half, and the BC Eagles, who made their last 10 field goal attempts of the first half, hit 9 of 9 free throws in the first half, open with the ball. Greg Smith, you know they're going to go to him, Jim. Is yet to score in the game. The guy who's 24 points a game he averages in the conference. Sidney can't get it to go.
And that miss breaks a string of the last 10 in that first half, Don, where they were on fire, Boston College.
Sherrod going hard to the basket. Mike Sherrod, a junior from Robeson High School in Brooklyn.
What did you say about Smith getting involved?
Yeah.
It didn't take long.
Oh, they've got to get him the ball. He's a difference maker, even though he's a freshman.
See, when he's scoring down low and it's just basic basketball, if you get Smith involved on the blocks, then guys have to defensively react to him. So Al Skinner knows that. What does that do? It makes life on the perimeter a little bit easier for guys like Troy Bell and Sidney when they do their little 1, 2, 3 dribble pop-up jump shots, or Sidney going to the basket.
And Axani gets his third personal foul. Smith, a great field goal shooter, 64%. Not a good free throw shooter, and he fails to hit there.
That'd be an interesting call. Yeah, that's going to be BC ball.
Yeah, Solomon-like Wisman by Bob Donato there, looking at everybody who touched it. It was a few guys that got a piece of it. There's Al Skinner in his 6th year as the head coach of the BC Eagles. Great player at UMass in the pros, in the Hall of Fame, also at Rhode Island where he coached.
Al's waiting for the decision here. I think they're questioning whether that was the correct call or not. I believe it was, though. There was a little bump beforehand, and they're going to stay with it.
There indeed, and the ball comes inbounds to Troy Bell in Boston College.
It'll be interesting to see how Coleman plays offensively in the second half. I'm a big believer that he's going to try to score some points, Don. He's not going to go away because of that first half injury.
Coleman, the leading scorer. No first half points. He's an 18.6-point-a-game scorer. Roll doesn't go for Smith. He still remains scoreless, and here comes Rutgers looking to cut into a 6-point BC lead. Player control foul against Rutgers. Ball turns over. That was called on Jerome Coleman. His third.
That is a big, big play in this half. Huge play with, let's see. That's an interesting call right there. Hinnon steps up. Yeah, I guess he does hit him from that other ankle. It didn't look like he got hit. Bell does hit down at the other end.
Bell, as he's been so many times, has been unbelievable on people all over him, and now it's the largest lead for the Eagles on 47-39 advantage with him going to the free throw line.
But look who's guarding him, too. That was Coleman guarding him with number 4 with 18:47. I guess I should retract my statement because Coleman might not be on the floor long enough to get many shots. He's got to sit for a while right now.
So a big difference in the game. Bell at the free throw line, shooting for his 21st point. And his counterpart, leading scorer for Rutgers, Jerome Coleman, on 4 personal fouls and no points in the game. But as you pointed out, Jimmy, he took that hard shot to the face inadvertently and was down on the floor for about 2 minutes in the first half early on.
Yeah, then he got the 2 fouls, and obviously then the 2 quick ones here again in less than 2 minutes. It's just a brutal afternoon so far for him.
Long ball, right on time.
Yeah, that gives you a little collective sigh of relief if you're the Rack and the 8,000 people sitting in this building supporting them.
That was Ricky Shields. He now has 8. A reject. Lamizana comes up with the ball.
Remember, he's one of the best shot blockers in the country, so you better make sure you have the shot rather than just a guess with Lamizana running around back there.
He's second in the Big East in shot blocking, 9th in America, Herve Lamizana.
Look at Bell.
Steal by Bell, but the save goes over into the hands of Shields. He's got some quicks and also a couple extra steps.
That helps if you can get away with it. Bob Donato right on the call, though. Goes the other way, a little out of control.
Well, he tripped a little bit. And Gary Waters looking on, Gary Waters said it's impossible almost to win in this league on the road, but Boston College does it. Long ball by Sidney, missed it all. Smith down with a rebound. And a foul is signaled, a Goods foul by Axani, although it's his fourth if it's on him.
I think they got Sherrod on that.
Sherrod on it.
That air ball, sometimes they're just impossible to get a good read on the air ball. Because as a rebound, you anticipate that the ball's going to hit the rim and give you a little time to get set. But when they miss and they come down quickly, generally an advantage to the offensive team.
How about when the guy throws an air ball, turns out in the hands of a teammate for a putback, and he wants an assist?
We'll give it to him, won't we? We're easy
Never
up here.
touched anything.
This team gets so many assists without us being gracious. Boston College, as mentioned in that first half, really passing the ball well with 13 assists on 16 buckets.
Hey, the Eagles have evolved from a team that started 1-4 in the conference to a team you don't want to play. They love it on the road, winning again on the road today. Talked about those big road wins, winning by 24 at Connecticut, by 24 at Virginia Tech, one big at North Carolina State, one at Iowa State. I mean, those are huge wins, and there's now a long ball is stroked down by Ricky Shields.
Well, he hits him at about a 40% plus clip. Here's another guy who lets it rip all the time, too. Not a good one, though, for Bell right there. A little fast. Here comes the break.
Control break, 3-on-3. Sherrod off glass. In and out, rebound to Sidney.
Nice decision, though, by Sherrod with the pull-up jump shot. There's a little blend of what Rutgers wanted to do early in this game. Run when they have the opportunities. If not, settle for the half-court execution. Looking for Bell off the screen on the left side.
Hinnett with a turnaround shot. And Lewis Hinnett showing some good stuff. A freshman who is averaging 4.5 points a game. Played 1 year with Mike Sweetney, the great forward for Georgetown at Oxon Hill, Maryland.
It's one of the things BC does pretty well. They use both sides of the floor when running their offense.
Lamizana with a sweet move up the baseline of the floor. Rutgers staying in it. Even though Boston College is having one of the great shooting days of any team in the conference this season.
And Lamizana continues to play relaxed basketball. Good look. Oh, look at the catch.
Well, you can't get it to go. Craig Smith and Kareem Wright rebounds for the Scarlet Knights.
May have drifted just a touch away from the glass instead of going right towards it. Body language.
Yeah, a lot.
Woo! Shields has some wild body language going on down there with his long-range shooting.
That was far enough out to be a four-pointer.
You got to repaint the floor and move that Rutgers word a little further back.
The rack is raucous. As loud a building as there is in the Big East, and now the turnaround shot doesn't work. Axani contending for the rebound along with Dornicamp, and now
keep it clean. Keep it clean. Good work by the officials.
Cooler hits prevail.
That BC bench was very close to getting involved over there on the sidelines.
Well, they were. Assistant coaches springing into action. The calmer heads prevail.
See, initially, I'm not so sure there was really anything nasty going on down here. It was aggressive play. The whistle blows right about now. There's the whistle. Yep, boom. And then guys are going after it after the whistle a little bit. Intensity, Big East basketball, conference play. You can add it all together and you get really aggressive play. And just as long as they keep it cleaned on, I'm all for the aggressive play.
It's you say, it's conference play. The players know each other better. The games are more important. The rivalry's more intense. The individual rivalry's more intense. Everybody knows each other. I tell you, college basketball, though, has done a great job, Jim, taking care of fighting. I mean, there isn't any anymore because you're gone.
Oh, you're gone quickly. Let's see what they're working on here, though.
.15:32 left to play in the game. Rutgers are ready with 5 team fouls in the second half, none on BC. And Jermaine Watson has just been ejected. He left the bench.
Yeah, you leave the bench. That's what I said initially, Don, when the tangle took place on the floor. One of the players, Jermaine Watson, got up and I believe took a step or two onto the floor before the assistant coaches could help out. I'm not sure he was going with the intent to really get in the middle of it. But leaving the bench is clearly the no-no in college basketball and all sports now, whether it be the collegiate level or pro.
Yeah, so Al Skinner loses one of the guards in his rotation, an important player, Jermaine Watson, who was at 6'3", an excellent offensive rebounder. He just sprung off the bench briefly, was grabbed by an assistant coach and sent back. But these officials on top of it all, they saw it. He was on the floor, and off he goes. Day over for a very good player, Jermaine Watson. And Rutgers battling back. The Scarlet Knights back to within 2, 52-50. Ricky Shields ready to go long range out of the area code. Bang. Back to Rutgers. Don Cricky with Jim Spinarco. 52-50 is right now. Let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock.
Well, you take a look at these numbers. 53% deadlock. And they have guys who are just looking for good shots. The tempo is picked up, especially at the Rutgers end here in the second half. And let's take a look at what happened to get the fireworks going. Here's a little flip shot, and then guys start going to work. You know what it was, too? I think the thing that I think got it going was Dornekamp kept going. And I think almost inadvertently had his left shoulder come up and hit Lamizana after the whistle. I'm not so sure there was an intent on his part for that, but that triggered a little bit of the fireworks after that.
Yeah, there was no intent.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything dirty or elbows up. I think it was his shoulder after the whistle that got it started.
I think you summed it up, Jim. It's conference play. They're going for it.
Right. And guess what, Don? We still have 15:32 to go here, so it shouldn't temper it at all. Once again, just as long as they keep it clean, aggressive basketball is a lot of fun to watch.
Big Nate Dornekamp gets 1 of 2. He is a 52% free throw shooter.
Let's see if the officials get involved in the next minute or two, though, Don, just to make sure it's totally clean.
Yeah, they're keeping a close eye as Lamizana backs in.
This is a seasoned veteran squad of officials down there, so I'm sure if it gets tangled down low, they're going to blow their whistles quicker than normal.
Drive into the lane, a putback by Kareem Wright, no foul, but Lamizana is there.
Well, with Wright on the floor with Lamizana. Now, Lamizana isn't a big burly type. That's where Wright does a lot of the banging and hitting and bruising and pushing, and that was what freed him up to get the second glass cleanup.
And Lamizana, a 10-point-a-game scorer who had 11 early in this game, now is up to 15 for the day, and Rutgers has tied the game. Sidney. I'll tell you one thing, there's some people who can get up in the air here.
Wow.
Talking about elevator.
Watch Lamizana go to work, though. Watch Wright, though. Here's Wright getting that first effort, and then that frees Lamizana up because guys are jumping at Wright and trying to block his shot.
Rutgers down by 1.
Wright's going to get in trouble if he's that aggressive out there. Oh, a little bit of push, go the other way. Fans are going to love this. As they get the big fella Dornekamp coming from behind. You know, when you're playing on the road, everybody in this building thinks it was Dornekamp, obviously, who started the fracas type move, aggressiveness down low, but it was a lot of guys involved with it. But when you're on the road, they're going to jump on the guy that they perceive to be the starter of.
Yeah, the quick whistle will come if there's any more contact. There's no question about that. They have to settle this down as we look at the team fouls. This is in the second half. Rutgers had 5 early team fouls. Of course, at 7, the bonus shot comes into effect. And at 10, the double bonus. You shoot 2 in every foul. It's not a player control. Like a charge.
And that was the example right there away from the basketball. Sidney picking up his 3rd foul.
Dornekamp comes out. He's a hard-working guy, big Nate Dornekamp.
Put Bryant back on the floor at 6'7", 230. Not afraid to mix it up either. Look at Wright trying to get some room down there.
Rutgers here, Jim, really starting to spread the floor. I think their confidence as shooters is up. They're the last shooting team in the conference field goals, but today, 53%. Down low to Shields, and he comes up with the ball. Oh, he's ready to launch with even the big guy on him.
Shields has given him a big lift, especially with Coleman having his problems with injury and fouls with the 4.
Steal by Bell, up court to Sidney. Rebound to Sidney, he puts it up again.
Who's jumping with it?
He had 3 tries, Ryan Sidney.
Now the question you ask, who from Rutgers is going to jump with him? Not allowing those 3 attempts. It was almost the Ryan Sidney show all by himself just then.
No question. A limited range shooter, only an 18% three-point shooter, Ryan Sidney, but at 6'2", a tremendous force inside.
Hard-nosed kid. He had the fractured jaw last year where he just about played through the whole season with it.
Played on.
Look at Wright working.
Gio rims out. Good defense by BC. Joel Wiggin is rejected by Craig Smith, and here comes Sidney.
Nice step in.
Steal, lead to Wiggin. And a whistle stops play at the baseline of the court. There's a pushing foul and a good foul against Boston College as they stop the inside shot.
Yeah, trying to get the ball down low. Here comes Craig Smith into the picture. Nice touch. Terrific play just then. Bell saving the basketball. He's got some size, and here's the step in for the steal for Rutgers to bring it the other way. Get the basketball back. Yeah, they're just going to let Wright and Smith keep banging one another. How long before they blow the whistle? Look at Wright now, wide open.
He is fouled by Bryant. Andrew Bryant gets the personal foul.
Oh, and Wright is just flat out annoyed with himself on that one, Don. He had an easy shot in his mind. He's wide open for a second down on the lower left block. You see him, both players, Smith in particular, go out. Miscommunication. Rutgers takes advantage, and Wright kind of goes with his left hand. Probably should have put that one up with his right hand, his strong hand at that time.
He is only a 45% free throw shooter. Look good there.
He's on fire.
Hide the game. Has a chance to give the Scarlet Knights the lead. Today he's perfect at the line. He's 3 of 3. He may have found the secret.
I think the stat sheets are wrong.
He's had an epiphany, a revelation. On the fly, Troy Bell. Unbelievable ability to create his shot with that quick dribble. Rebound down to Rutgers, and Mike Sherrod says, let's settle it down. They want to shorten this game as they lead by 1.
The confidence that they've shown as a unit without Coleman. You see Coleman in the middle of the bench, foul line extended on the sidelines. He hasn't really sat down in a while off the bench. Look at that big fella go to work again. Keep pumping in there.
Well, they are working hard to come away with the ball.
I'll tell you, Wright is fun to watch. He works very, very hard at both ends of the floor. And now he and Smith are battling on the right side.
Kareem Wright, the 285-pound senior center.
Smith has given up about 20 pounds.
Wow, before that shot was on the way, though, there's a foul called. And it's a blocking foul on Rutgers, so no basket, and the ball's over to BC. BC, Jim, after that great shooting first half, 64%, has gone cold.
Missing their last 10 shots, and Wright with 4 fouls. A factor, you know, a guy who's a role player for them, but they're going to need his bulk in there against Smith, because I got to believe that BC is going to get Smith involved at some point in this basketball game down low.
The Eagles are only 3 of 17 from the field this half. Now 3 of 18. Look at Ryan Sidney with an offensive rebound.
Look at this.
Snell puts it up.
There he is, going to work on the glass. Greg
Smith, the big freshman, averaging 24 points a game in Big East play, gets the tip in, and BC takes the lead by 1. What a game it's been. A long way to go. 11:38 to play.
Lamizana has just been a pest on offense, too, in a positive sense. Showing a lot of different moves, good poise with the basketball.
Lamizana will head to the free throw line where he shoots 66%. He might be 6'10 or 6'11, but I think his wingspan, he's got to be in that 7-foot-plus area.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He blocks shots when guys think they're fine. Everything's clear. All of a sudden.
And then the rest of his arm comes up.
That's right. And he strokes it down. And in this back-and-forth game, Rutgers has come back to take the lead. 56-55. 11:37 to play. Welcome back, and we'll take a look now at our Ameritrade scoreboard. The Hoyas of Georgetown on their home floor, trailing UCLA by a point. We saw some of the games later today. Virginia Tech, St. John's. Villanova at Miami tonight.
Cuse at West Virginia also. Another game on tap tonight. Tomorrow, a nice one too. Pittsburgh at Notre Dame. So some good, solid basketball ahead of us for the last month or so of this basketball season.
And the West Virginia program rising under John Beilein. They're sold out for today's game with the Cuse.
Good to hear. Tough place to play when it isn't sold out. It will be rocking down there in West Virginia.
That mountain man will be shooting off that gun, albeit with blanks, but it's loud. This game sold out at the Rutgers Athletic Center. Coming to you from the rack. Don Criqui with Jim Spanarkel. Big East basketball. Rutgers down by 6 at the half has come back to take a 1-point lead. Al Skinner, the coach of Boston College, has seen his team go cold. They shot 64% from the field in the first half. Shot 9 of 9 from the free throw line. But now for the game, the shooting percentage overall is down from 64 at the half to 44.
And the activity level at the defensive end better for Rutgers, and also much more confident on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah, there's no question Rutgers has ratcheted up its defense. Not giving the clean looks. Down low, good hands by Lamizana. He dishes it out. Wooten, the freshman, lets it go.
Oh, did you see that rhythm, though? He caught the ball a little off stride, up high, but then the footwork took over. Speaking of,
Elvin Wooten taking care of business from the arc. And now right back the other way. BC comes down to hit the shot.
Bell continues to be a pest, though. He comes right through the lane, slicing up to 23 on the day. As you take a look at these numbers, BC struggling, 5 of 21 in the second half.
And a turnover at the Rutgers end, so the ball is back over to Boston College, down by 2. Roy Bell up to 23. This is his first appearance in this building in his 4 years at Boston College. Seems to like it.
Yeah, it's treating him pretty well. Long way to go, too. Just a touch over 10 minutes left in this game. He's going to have a lot of touches. Here's one right here.
Whistle stops play.
He'll go to the line, too. So he'll be able to add to his total.
Bell had 18 in the first half, up to 23 for the game now. And closing in on the Boston College all-time scoring record held by Dana Barros. He's only, 11 short of breaking it.
Right. Needed 33 to tie coming in.
In addition to his 23 points, Troy Bell has 5 assists. John Paquette from the Big East here today pointing out that he's probably going to be the only player, if he wins Big East Player of the Year, to ever get it 1 year, miss the next year, and get it another year. He got it 2 years ago. His co-Big East Player of the Year was Troy Bell with Troy Murphy of Notre Dame. Didn't get it last year. But certainly a leading contender with a lot of good players like Mike Sweetney, Knight of Pittsburgh, Carroll of Notre Dame, and there's more.
Good to see Troy Murphy starting to pick up his career in the NBA, too. Playing well.
7th in the league in rebounding. He's a second-year player. Now with the game tied at 59 all. There's a timeout on the floor with just over 10 minutes to play. The shooting percentages dropping in the second half. And the game airtight. Can't get any tighter. Back to the rack in a moment. Welcome back to the rack. Boston College game plan. Score a lot. Rutgers game plan, keep the scoring down. Ricky Shields has been doing some scoring now.
Yeah, he's been scoring from long range also. Great body language in his jump shot. Good strong positioning. 3 for 4 in the second half has given Rutgers a huge lift. Shields has, with Coleman on the bench with his foul problems and still struggling a little bit from his injury in the first 4 minutes of this basketball game or so.
There are the field goal numbers today and for the season. And we're now halfway through the second half. BC wanted to get it into the 80s or 90s. IU wanted to keep it in the 60s, but that's not going to happen as they're at 59 now and tied.
Well, at the half, BC was on pace to get to the 86 number. I don't think they're getting there today.
They were right on track, leading 43 to 37 at the half. And now a turnaround shot by Lamizana gives Rutgers the lead again.
Way back in the beginning of this big game on the open, we featured Lamizana a little bit, saying that he should get down on the blocks and get more involved down low. That'll make his perimeter game that much more effective. Good body work, good extension. Notice the way he rolls into the defender now. You roll in, you feel him, you get a little bit of space to get your shot off. Good offensive positioning by Lamizana. He'll go to the line to try to finish it off with 3.
Well, it's been a very contentious, hotly contested game.
Nice tip. Nice tip.
It is.
Rutgers basketball.
Rutgers led early in the game 12-6, and since then there have been 10 lead changes, and this game has been tied 9 times. Rutgers back in the lead by 2 and with the ball as Joel Wiggin will put it in. Mike Sherrod ready to work in the back line. When he's out here, he's not going to shoot from the arc. Very, very rarely. They've got a guy who can, including the biggest guy on the floor, Lamizana.
There's another guy, Wooten, who can shoot the ball and will shoot the ball from long range. Here's Lamizana puts it on the floor against the Dornicamp.
Beautiful move by Lamizana and a good block from behind, but they're going to call a player control foul and Lamizana charge.
Lamizana aggressively going after the basket here. You see him step away through the legs.
Another good thing, Jim, about his 19-point day, Lamizana, that's only his first personal foul.
Keep him around that much longer.
Lewis Hinnant drops it low. Here's Dornicamp. Sidney fires. Rebound. Boy, these rebounds, men only get those in this game.
Adrian Hill going after that one.
Rutgers has struggled mightily. 1-6 in the conference. Starting a 3-game homestand that they think will make or break their season. Now a turnover, and here come the Eagles. Lewis Hinnant with a good dish to Sidney. Up and down, and we're tied at 61.
Good decision just then by Sidney also on the catch and pump fake down low. Get a defender in the air. Let him go by, and then it makes life that much easier to just lay the ball right in.
He laid it in. He has 7 points now, Ryan Sidney, averaging 14.5 a game.
Looking to get Lamizana the ball in the blocks.
His confidence level, I mean, absolutely, you can see it soaring. Started off fast with 11 early points. No foul. Players hit the deck. Here comes Craig Smith dishing off to Troy Bell. BC Eagles on a controlled break. In and out. And rebound to freshman Lewis Hinnant. And they start over.
Troy Bell shoots the basketball from long range, but it is soft coming down. Doesn't really kick out that much. They're giving Dornicamp the booze a little bit. Great catch and quickness just then. Down low by Sidney. Good post up. A spinning shot in traffic.
Ryan Sidney with a catch and shoot. 9 points. And BC is back in the lead.
Just another Saturday afternoon of typical Big East basketball, huh, Don?
Yeah, I'll tell you, every week they get better.
You've had some overtimes, too, in the last few years, haven't you, on Saturdays?
One week had 3 overtimes in a row last season, including a 4-overtime game, which producer Paul Carlson was also at. Georgetown, Notre Dame. Last week at Notre Dame, that was a 2-overtime game with the Hoyas.
So is the extra session on tap today? We'll see.
Could be. With all these ties, you get a feeling it's going to be something up at the buzzer that's going to either decide it or send it to overtime. Nobody able to pull away in this one.
Just a lot of traffic down low in that one drive to the hoop just then.
And going to the free throw line is Lewis Hinnant, a 6'4" freshman. A 53% free throw shooter. It's the irony of BC's season, such a good field goal shooting team, not a good free throw shooting team. And that's with an 85% plus free throw shooter in the lineup like Troy Bell. Today, BC has hit 11 of 15 free throws. And the Eagles take what is in this second half a big 3-point lead. It's been that close. 6:42 left to go. And the Eagles looking for a 4th straight win in the conference. Welcome back to Rutgers, where Boston College has come back to take the lead 64-61. Big East basketball comes your way next Saturday when sophomore sharpshooter Ben Gordon and UConn travel to Philadelphia to take on Gary Buchanan and Villanova. That's UConn versus Villanova Saturday, February 15th at noon Eastern from ESPN Plus. And on behalf of everyone at ESPN Plus and around the basketball world, everybody sends their very best wishes to Jim Calhoun, the coach of the Huskies. Underwent surgery, successful surgery on Thursday, and expects to be back maybe in a month. Tough guy.
That would be great news. Just make sure you're healthy before you come back. Best wishes to him.
And now a quick look at the Ameritrade out-of-town scoreboard. Florida, #1 in the country in the last polls, leading Alabama in the first half.
Billy Donovan's squad having to come back after that Kentucky disaster.
Yeah, they were steamrolling.
Last 7 minutes of that first half was brutal. If you're a Florida player, Kentucky just had everything going.
And the amazing thing about this game, Jim, continues to be the lack of scoring by Jerome Coleman. Rutgers' 19-point-a-game scorer almost is scoreless today, 0 for 5 from the field.
Three-point shooting, though, BC has cooled off in the second. Rutgers fairly consistent from half to half.
Rutgers playing for their postseason lives. The Scarlet Knights in danger of not making the Conagra Big East Championship of the Garden. Last place finishers in each division won't go.
Coleman back on the floor. Will take him a set or two to get warmed up, and let's see if he goes to work.
Good looking shot. Rebound comes down, and Axani working hard. Kick out. Coleman looks for the three. Now a nice dish down low by Herve Lamizana.
And Axani doing what he has to do well. Holding off the defender until the delivery of the pass, and then you go get it. Good high-low action by Rutgers to cut it to 1.
And that was the 6th assist, a career high for the big man Lamizana. Axani with a rebound. Here come the Rutgers Scarlet Knights with a chance to take the lead.
I was going to say, Coleman on a normal day would pull up from there. Good work. Good work along the baseline by Shields. Using the body, the baseline maneuver. And giving them a little high-low action here. We'll take a look with Rutgers, with Lamizana and Axani doing the high-low action down at their foul line area. The patience, the hold, little dump down. You see the man defensively behind Axani, and he delivers with his left hand going away. Good high-low action. High being at the top of the foul line area, the low being on the low blocks. Hold your man off, wait for the pass, and go get it and deliver.
And the foul was on Craig Smith, who got his 4th. So Cale Skinner brings him to the BC bench. Game tied again. This is the 11th tie in the game, and there have been 11 lead changes. Craig Smith looking for answers. This standout freshman averaging 24 points a game in Big East play with only 6 today.
And this is where Rutgers taking a little chance. Gary Waters with Coleman on the floor. You hope, and Al Skinner with Smith. The big guy gets in a lot of traffic. Young kid, I'd put him on the bench for a couple of minutes. Coleman, an experienced player at the smaller positions. He should be a little brighter in terms of being able to stay away from those tougher positions on the floor, but he's got a tough handle right here with Bell.
And look at that. Bryant throwing up a hope, but Karam's out, and the Scarlet Knights up by 1, looking to extend a lead with under 5 minutes to play.
If Coleman guards Bell the next time down the floor, I'd be surprised to see Bell not go after him offensively.
Lamizana with a beautiful kick out.
Big shot, Don.
Boy, that was big. And it ignites the rack. This place is loud and getting louder.
And more importantly for Rutgers, their leading scorer has re-entered the building.
Yeah, he's in here now as Rutgers on a 7-0 run rallies from behind to take a 4-point lead.
Keep in mind, Coleman is streaky and confident, and he will pull up when it looks like maybe not the greatest shot.
Troy Bell launches, doesn't go. Rebound to Rutgers, and they'll shorten the game, working the shot clock.
Bell has to go after Coleman with those 4 fouls. He has to put the ball on the floor and try to attack off the dribble. Just can't settle. Plenty of time with 4 minutes even on the clock.
There's a drive, and Wooten,
look at this.
freshman, takes it back outside. Rebound comes down to Bryant.
Not a good one there. A little quick. A little off balance, but he was feeling he's a rhythm shooter. He's a streaky shooter, so he was going to take a shot at it.
And a foul call stops play with 3:44 to play. This has been, though, Jim, a very familiar scenario for Rutgers, able to have a lead late in the game, unable to hold it. We'll see if they can. Talking to Gary Waters this week, he said the keys now, he said, he preaches to his team, are number one, you've got to value the ball more than ever down the stretch when you can't turn it over, and you have to make free throws. That's how you overcome losing at the end.
Absolutely. Decisions. It's so important to make good decisions in the last 3 and 4 minutes of basketball games.
Ryan Sidney with 9 points and 10 rebounds. He brings BC back to within 3.
The decision made by Al Skinner. Smith back on the floor. Good decision by Al Skinner. He has to get him back in the game. He's hoping that he's only down 2 at this point. If Sidney can make this free throw, and now it's strap it up and let's play 3 minutes and 44 seconds of basketball.
So Sidney, who's been barely over 41% for the season from the free throw line, hits a pair, and Rutgers' lead is cut to 2. The long ball by Coleman helped Rutgers take this lead. This game is brought to you by Hyundai, where driving is believing. Come test drive the full lineup of exciting new cars at your local Hyundai dealer today. By Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. By BMW, test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW Center. Welcome back as we look now at the BMW drive of the game. Been a lot of good ones, Jim.
Oh, there have been plenty. And you see Sherrod cutting through the lane, putting it up off the glass. A good solid drive by Sherrod for the BMW. Ultimate drive of the afternoon. And as you touched on, Don, there have been plenty of battles and drives to the basket. Let's see if Rutgers right now can work the interior, the low post, to get Lamizana like they did at the beginning of this game. Go back to the basics. Don't settle for the long outside shot.
Hey, this Calvin Wooten is a very smart, under-control player for a freshman. Very confident with the ball. Lost his footing.
That's a walk, though.
They get him on no sooner said, and looks like he tripped. Rutgers beginning a 3-game homestand today. They'll have Georgetown coming in. See those games on ESPN Plus. Check your local listings. Then West Virginia. And then they head off to UConn.
Yeah, those are 2 teams, Georgetown and West Virginia, that are right above them in the standings.
Yes, right. Georgetown has 2 wins in the conference. West Virginia 3, and a good move to the basket as Craig Smith is up to 8 points for the day, and it's a tie game at 68.
A little dipsy-do move there at the end, huh? Finishing it off, knew that he would get blocked if he stayed on the right side. Still think, beginning of this game, Rutgers, I thought their game plan was well executed. Get it down low and then kick it outside. Let's see if they can continue to try to get it down in the blocks.
Paying a lot of attention to Lamizana, who's been down low on the blocks a lot as he starts to move inside. Beautiful move by Lamizana.
Pretty decision, too. Going and trying to get to the middle of the floor. It was sealed off by Smith. Bang away. And they've been getting Exani. They got him reaching in.
21 points for Lamizana, but they did indeed get Exani reaching in. It's only his second, however. It is the 10th on Rutgers over the rest of the way. BC will be in the double bonus.
Look at the body action. A little spin away, a little touch off the glass.
Our Exani gets it. Excuse me, we're getting a correction here now. It's his 4th foul. I thought he had some earlier. So Exani staying in the game. 70-68. Ryan Sidney back at the line.
That's where the tough numbers from the free throw line. We're now under 3 minutes.
But that can be an eternity, and it might not be the last of this game as overtime looms large in a game that has seen so many lead changes, so many ties. 11 ties, 12 lead changes. 5 players with 4 personal fouls. Smith and Bryant for Boston College, Coleman, Axani, and Wright for Rutgers.
And once again, they got the ball to Lamizana the last trip down. Taking plenty of time off the clock. On a normal day, Coleman would not be afraid to pull up. I'm still betting that he'd take a shot if he has one, but Troy Bell is checking him right now. They want to get the ball down low.
Coleman, almost 19 points a game, has only 3 points so far today.
A good decision not to shoot that. 2 seconds left.
Coleman, the ball is stolen. This is Bell on a breakaway. He is rejected from behind by Axani, but there's a foul call. And that's it for Sean Axani. We welcome those of you who've just joined us, as right now it is Rutgers holding to a 1-point lead over Boston College on a breakaway here. Troy Bell goes hard to the basket, having a great day for BC with 25 points.
Believe it or not, I think that's a good foul, though. Even though Axani fouls out on that play, good effort for him this afternoon, but Troy Bell so quick. Coleman was trying to get that shot off as the shot clock. The reason he was going up for that shot was that there was about 1.5 seconds. 2 had just disappeared from the shot clock. Bell with the strip and off to the races. The downside, though, is you put a pretty good free throw shooter in Bell, the best on this team at 85% coming in. And so a confident guy going to the line at the dead even 2-minute mark.
And it has been a wild game. Al Skinner of Boston College, who has a 4-2 record over Rutgers during his career at BC. Today he's seen a game we all have where the lead has gone back and forth 12 times. The lead has changed. 12 times the game has been tied. And here is the great BC backline scorer Troy Bell closing in on the all-time scoring mark for a career at Boston College. Held by Dana Barros with his 26th point. He's now 7 points shy of tying Barros, 8 points short of breaking the record.
The Monday quarterback, Don, might say, well, Axani should have let him go because he's a great free throw shooter. I still think the foul was a good one because you have to put him at the line at this point in the game, even though you give up the foul and he fouls out.
Bell 6 of 7 from the line, now 7 of 8. Building his numbers. This is his first appearance in this building, this senior from Boston College, with 27 points. And Boston College has rallied to take the lead. Inside 2 minutes to play. Gary Waters, the coach of Rutgers, wants a timeout.
Isn't that what Bell has averaged over his last 3 games? 27?
Actually, almost 29.
29. Okay, that number keeps popping up, boys. He has been on fire.
Big East basketball comes your way next Saturday when sophomore Ben Gordon and the UConn Huskies travel to Philadelphia to take on Gary Buchanan and Villanova. That's UConn versus Villanova, Saturday, February 15th at noon Eastern from ESPN+. Don Crickey with Jim Spinarkle at the Rutgers Athletic Center. Boston College led here at the half by 6. BC, called by Rutgers coach Gary Waters, the best road team in the conference. BC comes in 5-5 overall this season on the road. Boston College upcoming games at Providence, home against Miami, home against Virginia Tech. Al Skinner has a high-scoring team, 85 points a game on average in the conference. His counterpart from Rutgers, Gary Waters, wanted to hold the scoring down. Right now we're in the 70s with 1:53 to play. Rutgers shooting exceptionally well in the game. They're not a great shooting team, but 47% for the game today. And Boston College shooting percentages now under 44% from the game, even though they shot 64% in the first half to the Eagles.
This is where Coleman wants to get involved. Oh, pretty.
Pretty it was, and a lead change it is. One more at 72-71.
Now let's see what kind of 6-man the rack is, if it can help their team at the defensive end right now.
Rutgers Athletic Center, the rack, and a very difficult place for an opposing team to play in. A long ball launched by Bryant, not close,
and not a good decision at all. You have Troy Bell on your team. Coleman's defending him with 4 fouls. And Troy Bell still surprised he has not tried to drive past Coleman to go to the hoop. Coleman wants to get involved again, though. You can bet on that.
Jim, Boston College having no luck from the arc. They're 0 for 9 on three-point tries in the second half.
10 on the shot clock.
Defense is tight. Coleman pulls up. He goes down. Rebound down to the freshman Craig Smith. Here comes Troy Bell with a lead pass.
Wow, somebody got a hand on that basketball. It might have been Sherrod. This may be, if Rutgers wins this basketball game, Don, this may be the play of the game, even though there's no scoring, and it doesn't look like a great defensive play, but it is if it was Sherrod who got his hand on that ball initially.
Rutgers has struggled so mightily this year, losing 7 of its last 8 games. Battling now down the second half of the season just to try to make the Big East tournament at the Garden.
Watch this play. Troy Bell has his eyes up the floor. He's going for a bounce pass layup. Look at Sherrod. Gets the ball, does not quit on it, and now watch what happens. Possession, and he's looking through the legs to look for a timeout. They win that one. That one should go on their highlight film for the year to get this win. That's a terrific, terrific defensive play and a mental play at the same time.
And what has helped Rutgers take this lead while Boston College, Jim, has gone 0 for 9 on three-point shooting in the second half. Rutgers has hit 5 of 7 threes, and normally not that good of three-point shooting team.
I got to catch my breath, Don.
It's unbelievable. Coming to you from the Lewis Brown Athletic Center on the campus of Rutgers University, the State University of New Jersey. Don Prickey with Jim Spinarkel. 35.3 seconds left to play in regulation. BC with 1 full timeout and 3 30s. Rutgers is down to 1 30-second timeout left. Free throw line pretty even. Both these teams, which normally do not shoot well from the line, are shooting well today.
Well, they're going to be shooting a couple sooner or later here. This is kind of no man's land in terms of the clock for Boston College. It'll be interesting to see what strategy they come up with right now. It's Rutgers basketball. There's a .3 differential, and you're down 1 point. Yeah, so you got to choose your people right here. It depends on who catches the basketball right here. You have a couple of seconds, Don, but they have about 5 seconds or 7 seconds to go after the basketball quickly.
Yeah, there's only a .3 second difference between the shot clock, which of course is 35 seconds, and the game clock, which you see is at 35.3. A lot of guys will bring it down. Most coaches, though, like to see it go up with about 7 or 8, so you at least have a chance at a putback.
Well, you see, right now, though, with Rutgers with the basketball, if I'm coaching with BC right now, I think Al Skinner's reloading the troops right now. He has a decision to make. Does he wait until the end of this basketball game and hope they miss? Because for all purposes, Rutgers can run out the clock. I think he's going to come at him with the full court, go gambling for the basketball, and play the fouling game. I just don't. If I'm a coach right now, I just don't wait till the end of this basketball game. You can't take a chance on it that you can get a turnover with 15 seconds left. So I think with this quick team that he'll have up front, they'll go for a quick steal. If they don't get it within 5 seconds, they'll be fouling.
Mike Sherrod is the guy who will bring the ball inbounds for Rutgers. Sherrod, a junior guard. He's got big Nate Dornekamp up against him. Makes it tough to bring it in to see the floor. Might have to use a timeout. He loops it in, and there's a foul.
Might have been a hold down low.
Ryan Sidney grabbed Lamizana. A very good call by John Cale.
Al Skinner doesn't like the call, but watch down low. Lamizana's hand goes up, the delivery hand for the catch. Watch to your right in the red paint. The hand's up. I'll tell you what, both of them were tangled up right there. Could have gone. Could have been a play on, but I don't think you can. I think you make the right call. I think the call was correct because Sidney is the defender in that particular play. You've got to give him a little room to go get it. But you know what, Al Skinner, it's not a bad situation for you because you only lost, a half a second on the clock. What was it 35.3? So you're down to 34.7, and you almost had a steal. So not bad overall for them.
And you almost have to believe that the game plan for Boston College when they get the ball is going to be the great Troy Bell with 27 already today. And a guy who, when he launches threes in his career, over 50 times has been fouled doing it.
And this guy Lamizana is 66% free throw shooter coming in. What is he now? He's 7 for 8 from the floor at the free throw line. Whoop, here we go.
Rims out, 2-point lead. Rutgers, Boston College with the ball.
That's why the foul isn't all that bad, because Al Skinner now has a chance to either win this basketball game or tie it. But once again, right now, down 28 seconds left. A lot of people wait until the last seconds of basketball game. I'd like to be setting up something here so I'm getting a shot off by 15 seconds. Still gives me some room to play the fouling game in case I miss.
Troy Bell is such a tremendous combination scorer from the field and from the line, and has such an extraordinary ability to draw shooting fouls. Next Saturday, UConn will be heading to Philadelphia to play a surprisingly good Villanova team. Wildcats not expected to be a contender, but currently they're standing tall in the East. Noon start on Saturday at Philadelphia. Check your local listings. Right now, in the game, where the lead has gone back and forth a dozen times, where the game has been tied a dozen times, Rutgers holds a 2-point lead. Rutgers losers of 6 of 7 Big East games this season. They're playing for their lives, playing to get to March.
Don, I know you've been probably tired of hearing me say that sooner or later Troy Bell should go to the basket with the basketball. I would say right now is a pretty good time, and watch for a dump down to somebody like a Bryant or Smith. There it is.
Defense, and that's exactly what they do. Well coached, Jim, and there is shooting foul.
You see, he's too quick not to go by people on the floor. Terrific job by Al Skinner setting up the set. And also, look at the breakdown. Coleman guarding him, number 11 in white, has 4 fouls. So he doesn't want to go out of this game, especially in this environment with the situation. Good, smart play. Coleman stays away. Smith with the big catch. Now, guess what? The youngster has to step up and hit some free throws right now for Al Skinner and company.
Yeah, he's only a 60% free throw shooter, is Craig Smith. Today, he's 16 points below his Big East scoring average. This freshman averages 24 a game, but only 8 today. But he strokes it down, and he is now today 3 of 4 shooting free throws. So while they've limited his chances from the field, he has made his chances at the line count. He can tie it up with under 22 seconds to play if he hits this.
Now you have to think ahead if you're BC. If he misses this shot, you go into a fouling mode. If you're Rutgers, you should not walk off the floor losing this basketball game. Here comes a foul. That's a guy you should foul, right? It's 44%. There he is. Now he's been hitting his shots, though, right? Today he's 4 for 4 from the free throw line, so you would say don't foul him, but you know what? You have to go back to the statistics. Number 1, he's not a good free throw shooter. Number 2, he's the guy with the ball. You don't have a choice with the just under 18 seconds left in this game.
But I'll tell you something, Jim. He was a happy guy coming down the floor with a big smile on his face as he headed to the line.
Well, he's made 4 out of 4 today. I mean, he could prove statistics totally wrong right now by burying a couple of them.
He might know something. Let's find out. Kareem Wright from Lansdowne, Pennsylvania, a 6'9", 285-pound senior. Do something. 2-point lead, Rutgers. This has been a sensational game as you look at the free throw numbers for both teams. Rutgers, I mean, look at that.
Look at him at the line, too, Don. Look at this. This is fabulous. Just practicing his shot twice. He's going to personally go in and rip up the stat sheets.
He's become the truth at the line. He's found the... Yeah, he comes off there. So now down by 2. Here comes Ryan Sidney with the ball for Boston College.
Where's Bell? Okay, timeout. Reload.
And could overtime be looming? Down by 2 are the Eagles with 12.7 left to play in regulation.
But we're going to have to rechristen you or get a new middle name for you. Don O.T. Cricky. Unbelievable. You've been involved with so many overtime games.
Seems like more often than not. There you go. Sometimes more than one overtime. Just like we like it. What about now? You coached well in the last time down, Jim. What do you think happens this time with Boston College?
Well, I think at this point you have to give the ball to Troy Bell, and I would try to do the same thing. Now, the other part of it is you don't want to take a shot with 2 or 3 seconds left in this basketball game because it doesn't give you a chance to clean up the garbage if you miss. So you basically want to be able to put the ball on the floor, drive it towards the basket. If Bell is doing it, he has the ability to pull up, and once again, pull up and shoot the basketball, pull up and look for a dump down pass again, or take it all the way to the basket. Bobby Mulcahy,
athletic director of Rutgers, his heartbeat quickening like everyone in this sold-out building. As Boston College down by 2 with 12.7 to play. Hinner, the freshman, brings it in.
Long time getting it in, huh?
And that, he just beat the count. Here's Troy Bell starting to move, pulling up. Doesn't go. Grabbed out. Back inbounds to the Eagles with 3.2 left.
So hard to tell who got a hand on that basketball for Rutgers, but to drive it away from the glass makes a whole lot of sense. Bell with that pull-up shot, not the exact shot he wanted, but quickness to get it off. Lamizana with a hand on the basketball. Here's the catch, one dribble and go. Look at this underneath.
Oh, a turnover. The low pass caroms off the hands of Andrew Bryant.
You know what, Don? I think that ball may have hit the net as it went by to turn it off just a little bit. He's wide open underneath the basket. Watch if this ball doesn't hit the net. Yeah, it does. It hits the net, and that, just like a receiver in football, when that ball is deflected at the line, it changes the motion and the flight of the ball. Bryant it's not his fault. Just hits the net. It throws the half of the ball off.
Not his fault, but it is a turnover, and in a few seconds there very well could be a lot more people on the floor than the 10 who are playing, the 3 who are officiating.
It's like the hockey net, Don, on a goal. All you have to do is watch the motion. It flips up. And here, look, I'm catching the ball. I'm going to lay it up. Guess what? It hits it just a little bit. You notice his ball was up 2 inches above his hand by the time it got past him.
Great camera work
again.
again.
Fabulous camera work right there. That's a great job of catching that.
So here is the scenario now. 1.8 seconds left to play. Rutgers leading 74-72. And ready to try a desperation pass down court. Well, now they're going to bring it in and run it out. It's going to be a desperation foul attempt.
Now, if you watch Big East basketball, you may have seen Darius Wright steal one from Miami against Connecticut. So this ball, you want to make sure it's going towards half court if you can, or come and meet it. Good job. Nobody fouls? I think that's before. Everybody's
definitely before.
Stay in your seats. This thing isn't over yet from a clock standpoint.
But it is close to over. 2 free throws would certainly solidify it.
Right, absolutely.
So Gary Waters, whose team was 15-1 in this building last year. This year they've had 4 losses already. In a year when they try to replace Rashad Kent, who was such an important player for them. Their big man. And he had his team counseling all week long. What we have to do is make free throws to win this game, and they've done that. 17 of 20 for Rutgers from the line.
Going to the basketball, so important. The ability to get to that line.
The officials now are actually our producer Paul Carlson, director Chris Lincoln, giving the officials a look.
See, I think, Don, there's going to be a little time left in this game, but there should be more time left in this game than what Boston College just did, because they took too much time to foul, actually. Watch the delay here. I think there's about 0.3 of a second left, if I had to guess.
There was probably 0.3 of a second left.
That's what I'm going with, Don. Just watching the play, initially watching down there. But one of the things, watch for the delay here with the Boston College player. The ball comes in. Okay, here comes the catch. Now, see, he doesn't foul right there. It's the second guy there who fouls, the second time in. Now, let's take a look at it. Okay, the low angle. Watch, here's the catch. There's not the foul, though. That's not the foul. That's the foul right there, and that's why Boston College is going to only be left with, my guess is about 0.3 of a second.
Now we'll watch it against the clock.
Okay. And maybe it's a little more. Maybe it could be very well 0.5 or 0.6 of a second there, depending how fast the whistle was blown. So once again, it's not the scorekeeper who's making this judgment over there with the timer. It's the whistle going off and the official making the call. We saw that up at Syracuse with the Pitt game the other night. which I thought the officials, by the way, I don't know if you saw that one, Don, or not, but with the play at the timing on that, I think it was well done by the officials, and I think it's well done again right here this afternoon by this officiating crew. Tell you what, these guys get knocked around a little bit for the officiating and the bad calls, and yeah, they make some bad calls once in a while and they miss some calls, but overall I'm just amazed at all these levels of officials, how well they do.
Well, it's like officials, you know, in this league and in the NFL, when you grade them out over the course of a season, very few people in any walk of life have a higher percentage of doing it right.
Exactly.
What are they going to give him? Well, it's first thing it's going to give him is 2 shots at the line, both teams in the double bonus.
Yeah, I mean, it's meaningless the time, Don, if 2 free throws go in. But you know what? Every second, every fraction of a second is important here, as we saw with Knight with Pittsburgh the other night against Syracuse.
Lamizana having a sensational game for Rutgers. The big junior forward, Lamizana, with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, a career game. Well, they're doing the right thing. They're taking enough time to be sure they get it right as best they can as we'll look again against the clock.
We got the official in the right-hand corner of the screen. It's tough to see him. Now, that's not a foul yet. Oh, it looks like it may be one. Oh, I tell you, it's tough to pick up. Okay. All right. Here's the pass in. Now watch. Player goes by, and now the official comes up to make the call. Well, I tell you, it's 0.6. Okay, it's fair enough. I think that's a pretty good call right there. I know it wasn't 1.2 because the first foul occurred, but that, I mean, it wasn't a foul. It was not called as a foul.
The officials, John Cale, Bob Donato, Les Jones, with a full afternoon's work, keeping this one in check. A very hotly contested game. Gary Waters now with his team with a chance to put it away as Jerome Coleman, his leading scorer, goes to the free throw line. This is a guy who had 31 points in the upset of Syracuse in this building, 26 in the second half. He's a good free throw shooter, 78%. No sooner said, and off it goes.
Well, no, that's not going to happen. There's 2 shots. Now, here's the dilemma right here that Rutgers has to be careful with. If he misses this shot, it's almost better because you have a full court blast going down the floor. If it goes through the hoop, Boston College still has time to get the shot off, and they also have 1 timeout left, so they can set something up. Might be better to roll off. No, this is going to be interesting. Now you can throw and catch. They mustn't have the timeout.
Long ball down court. It is picked off, tipped away, and Rutgers in this phenomenal game rallies in the second half to take the lead and then holds on to win 75-72. Despite a 27-point game by Troy Bell of Boston College. So a tremendous win for Rutgers. Just their second in the conference. And hope is alive as they fight on trying to make the Conagra Big East Championship field at the Garden. Our final score is Rutgers 75, Boston College 72. Join us next Saturday for more Big East action as Connecticut pays a visit to the city of brotherly love and takes on the Wildcats of Villanova. That's next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Check your local listings. Now for Jim Spinarkle, I'm Don Crickey. Once again, our final score, Rutgers 75, BC 72. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. Glad you could be with us.